we're going to work on putting our short weaving on a rod. I am using a dowel rod, so it is prepped and ready to hang on the wall. So you can see, to begin with, I figured out which way I wanted my weaving hanging, and I turned it upside down so I could be working with the top warp strings. So these aren't the bottom warp strings I'm working with the top ones. And you see me going across each individual group, or set rather, of warp strings, and I'm separating them, one up, one down. And I do that so that I can lay my dowel rod across them. And then I will go across the top and double tie each set of warp strings. So you can see me tying once and then twice. I will do that for each set all the way across. And then once I have them each double tied, I will go back across one more time and check and make sure that those knots are nice and tight, and I will give it one more knot just to be sturdy. So you see me taking these one set at a time. Take your time, make sure your knots are really nicely made. So I'm getting close to the end of my rod, and as I get close to the end of the dowel rod, I'm just double checking visually to make sure everything is tied nice and tight, and then I will get my scissors and go along and trim all of these just a little bit shorter. Not too close, because you just don't want to run the risk of it unraveling if you get too close to the knot. So I'm cutting on one side and then going down on across the other side. All right, so now that all of those knots have been triple tied, I'm going to get one more segment of my yarn. It's the same color as my warp strings, but you can choose any color you'd like. And then I will tie one side around the right side of the dowel rod, and I will double, triple, quadruple knot just to make sure it's safe. So I'll do one side, and then I will eyeball it and figure out how long do I want that top piece to be, the hanging part. That is actually what is going to hang the weaving from the wall. So once it's sized, double, triple, quadruple knot it so it does not come loose. So at this point, you see that I'm trimming off the ends because we don't want the extra hanging there, and you could be done at this point. So that would be sufficient, but at looking at the bottom, I just am not in love with how sparse I think the bottom pieces of yarn are. I feel like I want it to look fuller, so you see me gathering more yarn. I'm going to cut it into shorter segments, thread a short needle, and then I will run that yarn right up through where my warp strings are coming out. Literally just kind of push it right on through where that knot is. You can do this many different ways, and different weavers have different techniques for doing this. Some will send multiple pieces through at the same time, similar to how you would do raya, but you see I just found a spot to get that needle through. I'm going to double tie here, you see, once and then again, and then I'll trim it a little shorter. Eventually I'll go across and trim all of those, but so you'll see I'm threading the needle again, and then I'll send this up through the next knot, and then you'll see me do it all the way across the bottom of the weaving. right, here we go. Time for one last haircut. So I'm going across the fringe at the bottom here, trimming just a little bit off so it has a more uniform feel. It's not so shaggy, but still gives it some fullness. And it is now ready to hang. Have fun making your own weavings.